My name is Evan Child, and I'm going to go as Heman Hyde on the Pioneer trip. Heman Hyde, son of James and Betty Hyde, was born on June 30th, 1788 in southern Vermont. While he was still a baby, his family moved to Stratford, in the northern part of Vermont, where he was raised. He was the oldest of a large family of brothers and sisters. Heman received a fair amount of schooling as he grew up. Heman was married December 5th, 1810 to Polly Wyman Tilton. They had their first child, Heman Tilton Hyde, in June 1812. Sometime during the next 2 years, he served in the War of 1812 and also moved his family to New York, where 4 more children were born. In New York, he had a large farm and also carried on a heavy business in wool carding and cloth dressing. Their house was ever a home to the weary, and their hands never withheld from the poor. Adjoining the family farm was the farm of Warren A. Cowdery, an early convert to Mormonism, and it was from him during the 1830s that the Hyde family first heard of the restored gospel and learned of the Book of Mormon. Warren obtained from his brother Oliver some of the proof sheets to the Book of Mormon, some of which the Hyde family had the privilege of perusing, and did not peruse any faster than we believed. Heman's son William records in his journal that early in the year 1834, Joseph Smith and Parley Pratt came to my father's house. They preached 2 or 3 times in the neighborhood and conversed much in private. Heman was baptized on April 7th, 1834. Heman and those of his house were fully convinced of the truthfulness of the teachings of the prophet Joseph Smith. And as time passed, their testimonies burned stronger and stronger. In 1836, they moved from New York to Kirtland, Ohio. Heman and his family eventually moved with the Saints to Nauvoo, Illinois. Here they were a part of the dramatic events that unfolded. They grieved at the tragic martyrdom of Prophet Joseph Smith. Were there when the mantle of Joseph fell upon Brigham Young. Worked diligently to complete the temple at Nauvoo, that they and the other saints could receive their temple ordinances, and rejoice when these latter blessings were finally realized. On May 18th, 1846, Heman and his family started their long journey in search of peace in an unknown and desolate wilderness. They arrived in Salt Lake City in September 1848. Heman was able to secure land and built an adequate home, and felt grateful to the Lord for the blessings his household enjoyed after the diverse hardships they had undergone. Heman and Polly were very considerate of other needs, serving their church, family, and fellow men in every way that they could. Heman was a member of the High Council for several years after his arrival in Salt Lake City.
My name's Josh Child. Excuse me. My little brother is walking in Heman Hyde names, and I'm walking in Heman's son William Hyde's name. William Hyde has been an example to me. I received an award for him as I achieved my Eagle Scout, because he was part of the Mormon Battalion. And so I've studied his history a lot, and he's got about a 200-page journal, so I'll summarize it the best that I can. He was born on September 11th, 1818 in Livingston, New York, the son of Heman and Polly. He moved to Kirtland, Ohio, and when they were in Kirtland, he attended the dedication of the Kirtland Temple. And he said that this was by far the best meeting I had ever attended. The gifts of the gospel were enjoyed in a marvelous manner, and angels administered unto many. He also moved with the saints to Nauvoo, and after leaving Nauvoo in May of 1846, he was called to serve in the war with Mexico. Now you have to realize the importance of what happened here. He was getting ready to be part of a trek to come across the plains to Salt Lake City, to find this place that they could call home finally, quit moving, and this was a prophecy of Brigham Young the prophet, who Joseph Smith was great. I mean, Joseph Smith handed down his entire mantle to Brigham Young, and he had so much faith in Joseph Smith that he had no choice but to believe in Brigham Young. and he loved the church, and so he was more than willing to go. He spent about a year and a half serving in the war with Mexico. He left his family, he left everything in Nauvoo, right as he was actually getting ready to leave, and he left. And I'm not 100% sure on what handcart company he came across on, but he came across the plains. He was planning on leaving in 1846. He didn't arrive until mid-year of 1848. He had 2 children, and when he left, the oldest was 3 and a half. And when he arrived in Salt Lake City, he was a very successful man. If you've ever heard of Hyde Park, that was named after him, and he took it in the honor of Heman. Also, he was a patriarch in the church, which I admire a lot about him, because, I mean, I look up to the patriarch who's able to give me my life map, and to have a relative that was able to give that to other people. I'm very proud of him, which is why another reason why I would be happy to walk in his name. And he passed away on March 2nd, 1874.